Welcome to the Freud's Angels weekly reading, bringing the collective guidance and understanding for this week's energy.
Remember, never give your power up to a reader or a reading. You always have the power of autonomy. Hey, angels, welcome to your weekly reading. We are reading from August 3rd through August 9th. And for real this time, I will post this the week that it's for and not the Saturday before the
I didn't even notice. Like I saw the post and I was like, what day is it? I don't even know what day it is. And then I saw the other one after and I was like, oh, I guess they were close together. Like time and me, we're strangers right now. Never met.
I think like, you know how you get into those spaces where you've had enough of things. And I think that weekend I just had enough of my computer. I had enough of talking. I had enough of being around people. And I was just frustrated and I didn't want to do anything. And it didn't occur to me until the following weekend that, oh crap, I never really released that week's reading.
Yep.
But all good wisdom. And so it was we did it. We might as well post it, right? So yeah. And sometimes it's helpful to go back and to listen to them to see, ooh, how did that play out in my life? It gives you information to see the impact of what that's happening.
Fun. Yeah. Great to do that. To see the warning and then just do the thing anyway.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about it.
Not so much.
Not so much.
Oh my goodness. All right. What are the mermaids saying?
Oh, well, I laughed when this one came out because I was trying to, we were giggling as we were pulling cards because we kept putting cards back in. We're like, no. And I'm in a place right now. So I was like, I want something that's easy for me to channel about, right? Like, so because I'm in a weird place and I don't want like it all to be just a personal thing. I in my brain, I was like, I can pull my personal cards. Like this is for the collective. So this one flew out onto the floor so that I could not put it back into the deck. And it is the abundance card.
Ooh.
And of course, my jaded ass right now is like, ooh, abundance of fuckery. That's the abundance I feel like I'm living in right now. But with that, though, it kind of shifted the narrative of it almost immediately. Because yes, that is what I thought of, was like, wow, there is an abundance of just shitty things happening in my life right now, back to back to back, things that I don't want to deal with. They're making me want to dissociate completely. Everybody knows that I'm a runner, and the fact that I haven't taken off is amazing. I've tried in my brain many times, like, where can I go for a couple days? I'm going to go to Jersey for a couple days. I'm going to, and like, to be honest, I have a concert next weekend. I'm taking my sister and Mike to see Nelly for her birthday. So I can't go anywhere. So it's
trapped.
Like, you're just going to sit here in your abundance of bullshit instead of running away from it and deal with it. But then my perspective had to shift to the different ways that the word abundance can be translated into your life. And so as much as I am despising all of the things that I'm going through right now, personally, I know that there's an abundance of growth, an abundance of lessons, and probably a whole bunch of other things that are coming at me in abundance. Not just in this time in terms of stuff like that, like, the lots of different ways to learn things and lots of different things to be learning at the same time, but also that remembrance of it's going to make way for the other kinds of abundance that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So it's not always just manifesting great things and then big stuff comes to you, or just sitting here and going, oh, wow, my life is so abundant and that's going to bring more abundance in. Well, guess what? Sometimes more abundance comes in through an abundance of fuck. And that's what's happening for me right now, is a lot of things have to shift in my life for me to stop completing patterns, or not completing patterns, but just perpetuating patterns. And it's, if you want what's on the other side of it, you have to deal with these things that are coming at you. So yeah, that's what I feel like it's saying is, kind of opening up and being more expansive about what this word means to you and how different ways that it can show up. And that, not to just spiritualize it with, rainbows and butterflies and glitter, that sometimes it is the hard stuff that brings you the abundance. And we do have to remember that.
Well, it's shadow work,
Well,
AKA.
I have in the movies or like in the cartoons where the shadow is ginormous on the wall. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
Right now. And I know that eventually, because it also turns small.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I feel that happening right now, but it's really big right now.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyways.
Yes. I hear that. So the surrender card this week is surrender to non-action, which for any air sign is really hard to do because we're always in movement. Air is always moving. Even if it's still moving. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. And, one of the things, as you were talking about abundance, that came clear and came forward is that the abundance that we receive is always going to kind of sit in our nervous system a certain type of way. And so when things don't sit right or feel right, like, for example, money, like I've had a really hard time regulating my nervous system when it comes around having money and trusting myself to cope with it. And it's just an easy example for me to reach into. And part of it is learning about how I don't trust myself with it, and trusting and like whenever it's there, my brain goes into survival mode and does everything it can not to have it because it's scary to my brain and to my being. And so sometimes when we sit in non-action, when we don't move, unfortunately, everything shows up. All the things, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the whatevers, and so it's hard for us in society to work through non-action because our nervous system feels so jacked when we stop doing things. All of the belief systems, all of the feelings and the thoughts and the self-deprecations and sometimes even the good things show up. But there's an abundance of heaviness when we get still. There's abundance of feelings, emotions, and nervous system activations that happen. And so one of the things is just to observe that. Where are you with non-action? Where are you? What things are so uncomfortable that you have to move your body to run away from them? Because sometimes when we need distraction is not bad. Like, man, I tell you what, some of the best disassociating has kept me safe, right? It's kept me safe. It is the tool that my nervous system uses in order to be safe, to feel safe, to not feel like the house is burning down and I need to run away and flee. It is its purpose, but it's when I don't allow that dysregulation to stop, when I don't come back to it a week, a month, a year, whatever, however long it needs later to enter into the space where I need to be still. I need to be present with how I'm feeling. And usually, it's hard for me to do that. And that's why I have two therapists because it forces me to sit with those things, but it forces me in a way that is warm, loving, and there's a safety system there where if something goes down and shit goes down, I have someone there that can help bring me out of it. And also, it's helpful to have another person to just let the stream of consciousness come out of you in that stillness, because sometimes it's the gem in that stream of consciousness. Because I tell you, my trauma therapist, I swear to God, I swear she thinks, could we get to the point? Like, because I am a word vomit usually that happens. I brought my goals to therapy last week and I just swear to God, I just word vomited for like 10 minutes. And I was just like, well, I want this and it's because of this happened and because of that happened. And I try to be succinct, but then I go on this other tangent and I'm just like, okay, and I'm done. I'm going to stop talking.
No, but see that when that happens in therapy sessions with me, I'm like, that is what we call it, the train rolling, and eventually we get to the caboose, but the train has to roll. Like we have to watch every cart go by until we get to the caboose, and that's just what's happening. Just let it out.
And fun fact, before I moved here, it was so funny because I swear to God, my other therapist, Robin, she hates me. Like, no, she doesn't hate me, but she would get so frustrated with me because we'd be going through stuff. And in the last 10 minutes of therapy, I pull out the gem that was waiting to come out that probably is in the end of the caboose, but it took so long to get to it that she's like, okay.
It was the night train that went through that time. They took forever.
She's like, oh, now we have to deal with this in 10 minutes? What are you doing to me?
It's true. I mean, this is why I end up going over in a lot of my sessions, is because I'm like, this is so good. And I build it into my schedule that I have extra time. So, I mean, hardly anybody sits with me for an hour, but yeah, I mean, that is part of the process, is that being able to just kind of, be with it and be with it in a safe way. Right. Like, and I feel extremely personally attacked by your card. Like, extremely, because literally we were just talking about how I have had to distract myself in order to not burn everything down or take off or whatever. And I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like the discernment of knowing why you're doing things and what you're doing. I used to just run and I didn't know why. Or I did know why, but I didn't, like it felt like the right thing to do. And now I'm just like, yeah, what's going to happen. You're going to go there, and wherever that there is, and you're going to put it in a box. And that's why you're still dealing with this stuff, is because you keep putting it in boxes, or at least pieces of it, and so that's why it's still back around. And so we're going to have to sit with some of it. But, like you said, that discernment, I tried to sit with it, and it got worse. And I was like, okay, so I guess maybe we're not going to do that right now, because you're getting amped up and things are going to happen. So recognize that and do something else that feels like an outlet. Use a different coping skill. And if that means being around people and being a little bit distracted, or feeling like you're, completing projects of some sort, go do that. But when you're doing that, let yourself know what you're doing, right? Like talking about like, oh, this is a good distraction, or, I feel like, I'm gaining empowerment right now while I'm doing this, or, oh, I'm coming back to myself. This feels good. This feels like me, right? Like that alone can change the narrative of what a distraction is doing for you, and then, I mean, there are destructive distractions, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm not in those too, but whatever.
Yes.
I'm observing the whole thing happening. I'm not in awareness.
Yeah. I think too is that we have to understand the definition of non-action. It doesn't mean we're not doing anything. It just means we're not projecting what we're feeling and experience out into the world. We're just being still with it. We're not taking what we need to like start throwing at whatever it is we're experiencing. Or, even just, I think this isn't just for distress, right? Yeah. This is also for joy. A lot of times when we're excited and we're happy, we want to go tell everybody because we want to share it. But what happens is it dissipates. And so what happens when we share our joy, our happiness, our excitement with people, then we see their reactions, and then we take that on as validation for our joy. And so when we can, it's totally why I never really shared with my social media about the sourdough and about selling it, because I only shared it with my closest people, because I didn't want that reaction to begin to color how I feel about it. But now I'm like, I love it. It's amazing. And I don't need nobody's thoughts is going to deter me from knowing that this is amazing. So it's just, you dissipate the power of the excitement, the joy, the happiness. The more you share it with people, it's not wrong to share your joy and happiness with people. Of course, it's wonderful, but give yourself a chance to feel it and to sit with it and to kind of just celebrate and revel in it and the feeling, because it's important to you. And what you feel about it is the only thing that matters. No one else, what their thoughts are invalid. And even if they're like, that's wonderful, that still is not tied to what the excitement you feel. And so when we own the excitement and the joy and the whatever we're getting from that moment, the more we can sit in it and own it, and first share it with people we know that celebrate us and are so supportive of us. And then you can push it out if you want to further into the world. But
Yeah. And we manifest more of it, and when we sit with it than because we'll manifest more need for external validation if that's what we, continue to feel.
yeah. And
Totally.
and I think too is it also helps us when we take pauses and sit with those feelings. It lets us know that this feeling is excitement and happiness. It's not nervousness or anxiety, because they're so similar.
Yeah.
I sometimes have a hard time distinguishing between the two. And just yesterday I was like, because I knew I was going to make bread today, and because I've been waiting for my flour. Those of you who see my social media know that I got a shipment yesterday, and I was so excited. And I was like, I was really excited and anticipating it. And I was like, oh, I see how this feels in my body. I sense how that lands and where I feel it and how it feels. And in the past, I probably would have thought that would have been anxiety, but because of creating relationship with it, right, I understand it more of where this lands and how, that it is joy and excitement. And you can be nervous and excited at the same time. It's possible. It's just,
Wild.
they're sisters.
Yeah, it's wild. We can feel many things simultaneously.
Yes. So, yeah, work on non-action this week, friends.
Yeah.
In safe ways, of course. Our money card is, I forgive and release my financial past with love. And that's something that I would, we are still in Mercury retrograde. This is the last full week of retrograde, thank God. And it's been a doozy. It's been a lot. It's been extreme in so many ways. This one, like, I really, friends, I hate to say this, and I know I say this a lot about, we're being given a chance to make choices. And this retrograde was it turned the tables. It was like it came in and it flipped the table because it was pissed it lost its Scrabble. And and it feels like everything is upside down and disrupted. And a lot of it is because of the movement and the advances we're making into being different, choosing different, and choosing to be different. It's like, I feel, at least for me, it's really felt like these down to the moments of, you are either going to decide to work on this or change your habit, or you're going to just live life the way you've always been living. This is like the crucible of that choice. And, that's why when I went into therapy this week, I was like, we need to focus on the trauma with my body, my relationship. Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, I start that 10-week course with the Hollowbone Journey about your sacred body. And we learn how to develop and create that relationship. And after working through it and creating it and being with it, I'm taking what I've learned and what I've understood into therapy so that it can help the next part of that. And so but I know that this is the turning point. This is a turning point for a lot of us. Not everybody, but for a lot of us. Some people have been breezing through this retrograde, and I'm like, who the hell are you? And what did you finish all your healing stuff?
Jealous. So jealous.
Like, shit. Like, why not me? But it's creating, the cardinal signs too are getting, I don't remember what planet did what, but the cardinal signs are being super impacted by this, only because of other planetary retrogrades, and Saturn and Chiron just went retrograde. I'm so sorry. Chiron just went retrograde, which is it's funny. It's ironic that it went retrograde the day that our Revisiting Old Wounds podcast came up, because that's what a lot of this is about. It's about revisiting past pains and kind of doing the final moments of healing those spaces and whatever. But in these retrogrades, especially Mercury, because Mercury is more disruptive, obviously, than a lot of the other ones are, but really kind of observe, where have I been having to make the choice of this or that? And knowing in your heart that these are moments where it's like, if I don't become present and work through these moments, how is the rest of my life going to look? Is it going to just, be what it's always been? Or will it be different? And can it be different? And do I have the ability, the resources, the courage to make those hard changes? And, and like, I'm sorry, but, throwing up boundaries with my family, like there's been chances all week for me not to do that and to go into like back into helping and being responsible. And I'm just like, fuck that shit. I'm like, no. I was like, hard no. It's not mine. It's not mine to cope with. Sorry. And so just observe this last week of retrograde, sending you an energetic life preserver to make it through the rest of this retrograde because it's hard. But look at where Chiron, the wounded healer, is in your chart. This is important because this is where some of the wounds are coming up around. This is some of the things you might be revisiting. And so that will give you information to not be prepared, but to be aware so that you're not like, what the fuck is going on? Giving yourself that sense of foundation, right? Because if we know what it's activating and we see things like that around that come up, we know, oh, okay, this is part of the process. It's just process. Doesn't make it easy, but it's part of the process.
I mean, I'm very aware of what's happening, and I'm also standing with matches being like, now? So, I mean, it's a fine line once the emotion actually starts to come in. You're like, oh God, brain, help. You know what's happening.
Don't go rogue. Don't do
it. In a week, you're going to be like, whoa. So just wait. But yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all for our good. And I know that. And, we all know that, but it's, it is hard to do it when it's happening. And if you're like me and it's like somatically, like I can't handle it somatically.
Yeah.
And that's, it makes me crazy to feel it in my gut and to feel it in my nervous system and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's, can't wait till hockey season. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be doing pickups. I mean, maybe I'll start working at the rink. I don't know. I sure need my body to be moving.
Those who are on the other end of what puck she sends down the ice, you better be careful because it's going to come pretty hot.
Oh my God. Maybe it's good that I'm not playing right now. I don't need to be doing all that.
Yeah. Anyways, my friends, I hope you have a good week. Please, we're in August. I swear, things have to get easier through the rest of this month than it was in July. July felt like another January.
Yeah.
Whatever. But again, sending you all the love. This is it's not easy, but it is all for purpose. So lots of love, everybody. See you next week.
Love you. Thanks for listening.
We hope we gave you something to support your journey.
Check out our Facebook or Instagram page to connect with us.
Have a great week.